Hello viewer, you are watching Elimu TV, your TV station where you watch and learn. I want to welcome you to History and Government Lesson Form 2, Lesson 11. I will be your teacher, Mr. John N. Gatuma. Learn with me. We have been looking at the development of transport and communication. In our previous lesson, we defined what is transport. We were able to look at the traditional forms of transport such as the human portrait, the pack animals, rafts, boats, and the sailing ship. Therefore, we discussed on the human portrait where we said this is one of the oldest methods when people were used to transport goods. And today we want to look at we continue with the development of transport and communication, but the subtopic for today is the animals transport. The animals transport. Have you ever asked yourself what is animal transport? As the name suggests, animal transport, it comes from the word animal, and this is whereby animal was used for as a transport means. It was used to carry goods, and this is the time when the domesticated animals, they were used to carry goods. So the early human beings, they used domesticated animals to carry loads on their backs or pull carts. So these animals that you are used to carry goods on their back or pull the carts, they were referred to as the pack animals. And therefore the use of the domesticated animals to carry goods on their backs, pulling the carts or the mkokoteni, they actually gave birth to animal transport. And the animals that were used were known as the pack or the drought animals. So in the year 500 AD, a paddled collar was devised that rested on the animal's shoulder. So the main purpose for the paddled collar was to assist the animals when they are pulling the carts or carrying goods on their back. They're not going to hurt their flesh, and therefore this was so much applicable because animals could carry goods for a long distance and pass through the dry areas, or that's why we are calling these animals the drought or the pack animals. We look at the examples of these pack animals that we are discussing, and a good example of the animals, the pack animals, are one, the donkey or the ass. Donkey or the ass. Donkey was the first to be used as a pack animals. It was first to be used as the pack animals, and it was first used in Egypt in the year 3400 BC, and it was used to carry weight of goods up to 80 kg. So the capacity of the donkey was supposed to carry about 80 kg. So they were commonly used in trade between the Nubia and the South Sudan. It was actually used to carry goods between the Nubia and the Southern Sudan, the South Sudan, where there was trade. And these animals, it was used by the caravans to carry the goods. The caravans, they carry the trade goods from Nubia to South Sudan. So its hooves are suitable for walking in the sandy, rocky, and mountainous areas, and also can go longer dry conditions without water and food. Hence, it can be compared to the ox or the animals that can carry the goods. Example or a picture of a donkey. We have a good picture of a donkey. This is a donkey, an animal that are pack animals that can be used to carry goods at a long distance, and it was used to carry the goods, for example, by the caravans to carry goods from Nubia to South Sudan. And looking at the animals, the way it is adapted to harsh conditions. It has got a hoof which is suitable for walking on the sandy, rocky, or even mountainous region, because this animal is very strong, and therefore the fact that it is very strong, it can carry goods at a long distance. So this is a donkey, and a donkey, you can see it has got a pedaled collar at the back so that it can help in carrying the loads or the goods. The second animal that was used as a pack animal is the ox or the oxen. An ox or an oxen This is known as a drought animals. It was used in plowing and pulling carts and to transport goods and people. So the ox or the oxen, the ox, remember, it was one of the adult castrated male animals, and this one was used in carrying the goods. It was used in carrying the goods. The male castrated animals was used to carry the goods, and it was used in Mesopotamia, India, France, Spain, and Africa. So it carried loads at the back before it started pulling the carts and plows. So this one is actually related to the water buffalo that was used in the South Asia. So we look at the good picture of an ox. This is a good picture of an ox that can, it is pulling carts or mkokoteni and carrying some goods and people. So this is an ox. It's very, very strong, and we have said it can be compared to the water buffalo that was used in South Asia. And this one was used to pull or to carry goods on their back before it started pulling the carts or the plows. Looking at other uses of the ox, this is an ox and it is used for plowing. It is pulling the plow to till the land or the ground. Another animal that was used as a pack animal is the horse. The horse was another animal, very strong, and this is one of the fastest and the strongest animals used first in North Africa. It was first used in North Africa, and being one of the fastest, it can be used to pull the wagon, the chariots, and horse-drawn chariots, and it's very, very fast. Looking at the picture of a horse, this is the picture of a horse, very strong and fast animals, and these animals they are used majorly for it is used by the troops to go and suppress any revolts that is happening. Other pictures of a horse that is used as a pack animals, we have a picture that is pulling the wagon or the carts. It's pulling the carts or horse-drawn chariots. These are horse-drawn chariots. It can draw the chariots. These are the species of a horse. Another horse used for transport, carrying the human beings, and it can carry, for example, the troops that are going to suppress any revolts in any area that requires emergency. Another animal, fourth, we have the mule. Mule, you spell this one as mule, and mule is usually the offspring of the male donkey, that is the jack, and the female horse, that is known as the mare. So the combination of the male donkey, that is the jack, and the mare, that is the female horse, they give birth to what we call the mule. So the mule becomes a combination of the jack and the mare, and the jack is the male donkey. So once the male donkey mates with a female horse, they can give an offspring. This offspring, you cannot say is a donkey, you cannot say it's a horse. So it combines the two traits. So this combination is known as the mule. And when we look at the mule, a clear picture of the mule. This is the clear picture of a mule. You can see is a combination of a jack and mare. Some of the features are those of the donkey, and others are those of the horse. So these features, they give birth to what we call a mule. And a mule is usually have something like a cross at the back, like a cross. So this is to show that it is an animal that is a combination of the male donkey and a female horse. Another picture of a mule. This is another picture of a mule, one of the strongest. Remember, it is one of the strongest because it carries the traits of the donkey and those of the horse. So the fact that it is a combination of the two, this is how it looks like. It can be used as a donkey, the way donkey is used, and at the same time how the horse is used, because it's a mixture of the two. So it carries human beings. It could carry human beings from one place to another, and therefore it's a pack animals. So the mule, being a mixture of the offspring of the donkey and horse, it was a sterile. When you say it's a sterile, it cannot produce. So you cannot say a mule will produce, because it's a combination of a jack and mare. It it cannot produce. So it was more hardy than the horse, hence carried heavier and loads than that of the donkey or the horse. So therefore it was used in East Africa and Greece, and also in the southern part of America, that is Mexico. Another example of a pack animals is the elephant. Elephant is another good example of a pack animal, a drought animal. And the elephant, as it is known, is one of the largest, strongest and largest pack animals that was used in India. And being one of the largest and the strongest, it was used in India, and it could carry loads of up to 250 kg. It could carry the loads of 250. You look at the picture of an elephant. This is a picture of an elephant carrying the goods. And just as I mentioned when I was introducing the animal transport, so these animals, it had got a paddled collar at the back, and this one was to enhance the carrying of goods. You can see the elephants in a paddled collar and carrying goods and people from one place to another. We have another species, that is the elephant, elephant carrying people from one place to another. So apart from elephant, we have other animals such as the camel. And the camel is one of the hardy of all pack animals. So you need to understand it's a very special animal, very, very hardy. And when you say hardy, it's the strongest animals of all the pack animals that we have discussed. And therefore this one is regarded as a sheep of the desert. It is regarded as a sheep of the desert. The reason why we are saying it is regarded as a sheep of the desert, it is because it is very suitable for the arid and semi-arid areas, and hence regarded as a sheep of the desert. And therefore these animals, because of how it is adopted, its hooves, looking at its arms, it can carry goods. So there are two types of camel, and these two types of camels, you have the Bactrian, and the Bactrian is that camel which have two humps camel, and this one was used in Asia. We have the dromedary species of a camel. This is a single-humped camel, and that was used in Africa and also in Sahara. So it was one of the sheep of the desert. So the camel, being one of the hardy animal, it can carry up to 200 kg. It can carry up to 200 kg. And look at the picture of the camel. This is the picture of the camel carrying the goods in the desert. It's one of the sheep of the desert because it's adapted to the desert. Its physical features, how it's adopted, it has got a mechanism to survive in the desert. We have another picture of a camel. This shows that it's a sheep of the desert, can carry goods in the desert. Other species that we have that is used as a pack animals, we have the reindeers. The reindeers is a breed of a deer with long horns. There is a type of a deer with long horns. It has got a long horns. And the reindeers, being a breed of a deer, it has got a long branching antler. It has got a long branching antlers or the horns, and it was used in the cold regions of the Northern Hemisphere, such as the Canada. So it is used in cold regions. So reindeers, they ideally is normally used in the cold regions. Good example is the countries in the Northern Hemisphere, and a good example of these countries, we have countries in Canada, that is in north part of America, and we have the Sweden and other places in the Northern Hemisphere, the northern part of the world. Good example it is seen here, that is a reindeer. A reindeer, we have said, it has got a long branching horns or antlers. The horns of these normally have got the branches, and therefore this, being one of the largest, is one of the largest deer, is a species of deer, is one of the largest, and therefore it can carry rods, it can pull rods on their back, and it is used in cold region where there is a snow, in the snowy region. Another picture of a reindeers, it is seen, these are pictures of the reindeers. Reindeers, an animal pulling the wheelless vehicles, and characterized by long or large branching antlers or the horns. It is also used in transport. Another animal that is used in transport, we have the llama. The llama is another animal, pack animal, that is used for transporting goods. And llama is a type of camel. This is a type of camel with wool. The only difference between this one and camel, the llama and camel, this one has got the wool and carries up to 40 kg, whereas the camel carry a lot of goods, because if you say it's one of the hardest of all pack animals. So these pack animals, it carry up to 40 kg and suited for movement at a high altitude in a mountainous region. So this one can survive in a mountainous region. And how it look like, it's almost like a dog. It look like a dog and a camel. And this one has got normally look like a camel, but has got wool. It has got wool, and they suited for a high altitude area or a mountainous region. So pictures of llama is seen here. This is a picture of a llama, and in Kenya it can only be found in Egerton University. We can get the llama. So when you want to look at llama, go to Egerton University in Nakuru County. This is the llama. It can carry goods, and it is usually used in a mountainous region or a high altitude region. You look at a llama, it looks like a camel, but it's a breed of a camel. But the only difference here, it is not as big as the camel, and it has got the wools. So the wools give it a difference between a llama and the camel. And the picture is seen, it's used as a pack animal for transport. Lastly, we have another pack animals. Lastly, we have the dog. The dog is another pack animal, and this was the first animal to be used by man for hunting before it was used for transport. Initially, the dog was used for hunting, but later on it was deployed for transport, for carrying goods. So it was used by the Eskimos to draw sleigh or over the snow. When you say of the sleighs, they are also spelled as a sledge. This is a wheelless vehicle that we shall discuss. A wheelless vehicle that is actually was used by the Eskimos in the snowy areas, and therefore the bigger breeds of the dog, it was used to draw small sleighs over the snows. So the Eskimos, remember, are the indigenous peoples of the Arctic or the northern Canada, and also in Alaska. So this is the Eskimos. Eskimos, they are the people who normally were using this. But initially, during the New Stone Age period, that is the 5,000 years ago, it was used. It was domesticated and used for hunting. But later, the Eskimos invented that the larger breeds of the dog can be used to draw or pull the sleigh over the snow. Basically, those were the animals, but you can see the pictures of the dog. This is a picture of a dog pulling the sleigh. You can see it is pulling the sleighs over the snow. So these dogs were used to carry the goods over the snow. So basically, they are the animals that we have managed to discuss today. But let us look at what are the advantages of using the animal. What are the advantages of using the animal's transport over the other means of transport? So these are the advantages of using the animals as a means of transport. One, they can carry heavier weights than human beings. So when you compare the animals and human beings, the human portrait, the animal transport can carry heavier weights. Two, they can be used in inaccessible areas. Some of the accessible areas include the mountainous region, high altitude region, and we have said some animals such as the donkey, they can penetrate up to all these regions, places where the other means cannot pass. Some of these animals can get inside these areas. Three, they are cheap to maintain. Some of these animals, they are cheap to maintain. Remember, they does not use or require any oil, but they only need to be fed and given some water. So once you are fed well, they can have strong energy to carry the goods in many areas. Therefore, it's cheap to maintain. Four, they are safe as accidents are rare. Remember, the accident cases, incidences in animal transport is very rare, very rare. so therefore they are the safest means of transport to be used. And next, that is 5. Some animals are capable of sending dangers. Remember, a good example, you have the dogs. The dogs can sense the danger. It can sense the danger, and therefore when there is a danger coming, they can help. Disadvantage, we look at quickly the disadvantage of animal transport. What are their disadvantages? When we talk of the disadvantage, we are referring to the weaknesses, we are referring to the negative effects, we are referring to the pitfalls of the animal transport. Why is it discouraged? 1, it is slower and tedious. It is slow and tedious. The word tedious on the screen, it means tedious means it is very, very cumbersome, or the work using these animals is very tedious, because some of the animals, they are very, very stubborn. A good example is the donkey. When it is tired, it's very, very tedious, and therefore it's slow and tedious, therefore discouraged. 3, they could be attacked by the wild animals. Remember, some of these animals, the pack animals, they are the prey to other wild animals. For a good example, when a lion see the donkey, or when a lion see a llama, and reindeers is a good example of deers. So when they see these animals, they will be attacked. 3, these animals, they cannot travel at night. These animals, they cannot travel at night because they are the animals, and therefore at night they cannot use them. 4, they carry smaller roads than motor vehicles. They carry smaller roads than motor vehicles. So when you compare the motor vehicles is preferred because they carry larger commodities. And next, that is 6, some like donkey, some animals such as the donkey, they could be stubborn when tired, as others like the camel are only suitable for desert conditions. So the donkey is discouraged because sometimes it's usually stubborn. It can actually hurt the person using these means, and others such as the camel, they are only suitable for the desert condition. So when you put them in other conditions, they might probably not survive. Another disadvantage, they are often attacked by diseases. They are often attacked by diseases. So often these animals, they are subject to suffering from a certain disease, and therefore disease causing pests and also parasites. They can suffer from nagana. Nagana is one of the diseases that can they can suffer, therefore they can die. Other disadvantage, they can only travel at limited distances as they get fatigued. They can get fatigued easily because they are the animals, and therefore the only distance they can cover is usually limited, and therefore these are some of the weaknesses of the animal transport. Up to that, we have come to the end of our lesson today, and I want to give you some assignment that you will try, so that in the next lesson we're going to pick from here. The question is just simple. State 3 reasons why camel is regarded as a sheep of the desert. State 3 reasons why camel is regarded as a sheep of the desert. For your feedback, other feedback that you might be having, send your question, your feedback on the number on your screen. Our SMS number is 22518 22518. Our Facebook page is at Elimu TV, and follow us on our Twitter handle. Our Twitter handle is at Elimu_KE. I'm glad you are watching Elimu TV. It's a TV station where you watch and learn. Stay tuned till we meet in the next lesson. I've been your teacher, Mr. John Gatuma. Thank you.